Year number 1 of our New York Jets franchise is in the books. We ended up going 11-6, not good enough to win the AFC East division, something the Jets have not done since 2002. We did, however, end the 14-year longest playoff drought in the NFL, getting in as a wildcard team. We even won a wildcard playoff game in wild come-from-behind fashion, coming back from down 18, tying the record for the biggest comeback in a playoff game on the road in the Super Bowl era. Our season ended in Buffalo at the last second. We had a chance to beat the Bills at the buzzer, but narrowly missed a 63-yard field goal. I do want to acknowledge that we had an easier schedule this year. We went 7-2 against teams that finished below 500, just 4-4 against teams that had a winning record. Spoiler, on our schedule for next year, we will have 9 games against teams that had a winning record this last season. Your Jets have $120 million available in cap space and 9 draft picks to make this team better. Some of that cap space will have to be used to re-sign players, and 7 of those 9 picks are day 3 picks, so we may have to get creative as we look to improve our roster. Ben Portis and our offensive coordinator Zach Parker got the absolute most out of our offense this year. We were the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. We played to our personnel. We'll continue to do that, but I want to upgrade our personnel mainly at the pass-catching positions, specifically wide receiver. On defense, we have fired our defensive coordinator from last year in Stephen Meyer and have hired the old Cardinals head coach and Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon to be our new DC. The defense arguably was the worst in the NFL last year. You could pick any position in terms of needing an upgrade and you'd be right, but I'm going to go with the biggest need being secondary help. So let's turn the page and get into the offseason, starting with a very easy decision. Will McDonald IV is going to have his 5th-year option picked up. So now he's under contract through the 2027 season. He's coming off a career year where he had 12.5 sacks, 29 TFLs, and is somebody that is just entering his prime. He's 27. I'm hoping that we could build this defensive line around him and Quinnen Williams, who I'm hoping can have a bounce-back year next year. On the offensive line, we got a couple of pending free agents to be. Elijah Vera Tucker is one of them. The only question with him is his health. He remained healthy all year for us and played in even the 2 playoff games. So he's a good player and stayed healthy. That was the only thing I wanted to see out of him. We're going to offer him a 3-year, $54 million contract extension. He's going to accept. So he'll be making $18 million per year on an average. And that is going to make him the 10th highest paid guard in the NFL. I think he's worth it. What do you guys think? Do you think Elijah Vera Tucker is worth being a top 10 paid guard in the NFL? John Simpson, the other starting offensive lineman that is a pending free agent. John Simpson is not as good as Elijah Vera Tucker, but he's not a bad player. I don't want to offer him a long-term deal or that much money. We'll offer him a 2-year, $20 million extension. He is going to decline. He's looking for more around the $27 million range, and I'm just not willing to give him that much money. So this is going to be the end of John Simpson in New York, at least with the Jets. I guess he could sign with the Giants. So we'll have to find a new left guard to start for us next year. Marshawn Kneeland is somebody I do want to bring back. He's only 25 and is somebody that could potentially have a breakout year next year because look what he was doing down the stretch. The last 5 games, he had 3 sacks, including 2 on Josh Allen, one of them in the playoffs, and it was a strip sack that gave us a chance to win the game. We didn't win it. It was an awesome play, though. He is going to decline our 2-year, $14 million offer, so we'll test out free agency, and now we have to bid against other teams and compete with other teams to try and bring back Marshawn Kneeland, but that is something we're going to try to do. Lewis Cine is another young player who actually had his dev trait go up. He's now star development. Now he did have to play a lot more for us than Marshawn Kneeland did, and Cine was all right. He did pick off Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, so he made some big plays against good quarterbacks, and he's not asking for that much money. We're going to offer him a 2-year, $6 million deal to come back and be a rotational piece and also be a key special teams player. So he accepts, and Lewis Cine will be back. Hopefully not as the starter, but as a backup rotational guy and somebody we can trust on special teams. Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker, went 29 of 34 on field goals if you include the playoffs. 4 of his 5 misses came in our last 6 games. So he was shaky down the stretch, but I want to bring him back. We'll offer him a 3-year, $3.9 million deal, and he is going to accept, meaning we have our kicker for a couple more years. 21 players off of our 53-man roster from last year will be hitting free agency, including 2 Pro Bowlers, left guard John Simpson and fullback Andrew Beck. Not expecting either one of them back. 6 of the 21 that I could see coming back, depending on the other available options to us out there: wide receiver Allen Lazard, tight end Jeremy Ruckert, defensive tackle Jalen Redmond, edge Marshawn Neiland, linebacker Jamin Davis, and punter Austin McNamara. Before free agency, let's make a couple of trades. I thought the Brandon Stevens signing was bad right when it happened. 3 years, $36 million, a massive overpay for a mid player at best. And he still has 2 years, $28 million left on his contract. We are going to be sending him and a 6th round pick to the Panthers for a 4th round pick and then a 5th round pick in next year's draft. So it ends up being a day 3 pick swap, and we get a 5th round pick for Brandon Stevens. He has a chance to be a starter in Carolina, and for us, we can improve our draft capital this year and get the extra pick in next year's draft. Another one, Jermaine Johnson II, in his first year back from a torn Achilles tendon, he was disappointing. He was consistently no-showing and exiting games early. He does only have 1 year left under contract, so we're not going to demand a king's ransom for him. We're going to be sending him and Tony Adams together in the same deal. I know he just extended Tony Adams to a 2-year, $10 million contract, but when we were signing Tony Adams to that deal, we talked about potentially trading him, and we are in fact going to be dealing him and Jermaine Johnson II to the Chicago Bears. We'll be sending those two, a 2nd, 4th, and 6th round pick in this year's draft, to the Bears for a 2nd and 3rd in this year's draft and a 3rd in the 2028 draft. A lot of moving pieces in this deal. The Bears end up getting an extra pick in this year's draft and 2 starters on their defense. Jermaine Johnson II will pair nicely with Montez Sweat, and Tony Adams will for sure be one of their starters because they have nobody else in that safety room capable of starting. Our defense, that is sort of Swiss cheese, has added a couple of extra holes to it, but we have some better picks and have freed up a little bit of cap space in the future. Not this year. We're actually going to lose some cap space because of those trades. We're now down to about $97 million, still plenty of money to spend. And there is a big-time available free agent, Aiden Hutchinson. Rare to see somebody of his age and talent hit free agency. 42 sacks in his first 4 years of his career. He's only 26, a superstar X-Factor. I know he did suffer a devastating leg injury, but he came back at a big year, and I believe in the talent. We're going to offer him a 7-year, $280 million deal to come play for the Jets. $40 million per year for Aiden Hutchinson, and that puts us in the top 4 of the 13 teams that are going after him. Did we offer enough to get Aiden Hutchinson on the Jets? Safety is a big need for us. Tyrann Mathieu, at 34 years old, not in his prime anymore, is still one of the better available safeties on the free agent market. He's got a mentor tag, meaning he could help us develop a couple of younger safeties and DBs. So why not bring him in on a 1-year, $8 million deal to see if he could help us out for a season and very likely retire after it. He is 34 and he's already retired in real life. Kobe Bryant used to be teammates in college at Cincinnati with Sauce Gardner. Let's try to reunite the two here on the Jets. Bryant, not an elite player. He is pretty good in zone coverage though, 81 zone, and I would trust him to play any sort of zone with that rating. We're going to offer him a 2-year, $8 million deal to come to New York and potentially be a starter for us. No competition for him or Tyrann Mathieu, meaning we have a great chance at getting both of them. Isaiah Wynn is a very intriguing player. He started every game last year for the Buccaneers, who went to the Super Bowl, and he was elite. He is 30 years old and maybe not the best rated player. He's got some good ratings, I would say. Not great. The best thing about him, though, he is asking for half the money that John Simpson was asking for. And Isaiah Wynn is a similar player, just had a better year than John Simpson. So we offer him a 1-year, $6.4 million deal. Marshawn Kneeland, we have to up the offer. Now a 2-year, $23 million offer going to Marshawn Kneeland because the Commanders are going after him, and they have apparently offered him a lot of money, or at least he likes the offer. That is all we can do in the first wave of free agency. It's time to find out if we could get Aiden Hutchinson or any of these guys to accept. Aiden Hutchinson signs for $194 million less overall, $11.3 million less per year, and 4 less years. He took an all-around worse offer to sign with the Chargers. Marshawn Kneeland took a worse offer to sign with the Commanders. Brutal to miss out on both edge rushers, even though he offered better contracts than what they ended up accepting. At least we got Tyrann Mathieu and Isaiah Wynn filling a couple of positions of need. But all of a sudden, edge rusher is a major position of need. Baron Browning spent the last 2 years under Jonathan Gannon in Arizona as a part-time player. So if we bring him in, he'll know the system. He's got some good athleticism. The ratings are not that bad. He's 27 with star development. Maybe if he gets some more playing time, he could have a breakout year. The offer to him is a 2-year, $17 million one. We got no competition for him, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed anyway, hoping that we get him because edge rusher, like I said, a major position in need out of nowhere. Calvin Austin is the 3rd highest overall wide receiver on the free agent market. He did average 40 yards per game last year, but he's only 5'9", a $162. He's 27, normal development, so not really somebody that you are clamoring for to be your number 2 wide receiver. He might have to be, though, if he ends up coming here. Keaton Mitchell is another guy I want to bring in to bring some dynamic ability to this offense and also return game. He could be a kick returner, a punt returner, RB3, and a gadget player that we get the ball to a couple of times per game. He's only 24. We offer him a 2-year, $8 million deal. The Commanders are going after him. They stole away Marshawn Kneeland from us, so hopefully we can get Keaton Mitchell and make sure they don't get him. Jamin Davis is not an every down player, but I think he is great at what we had him doing last year, and I want to bring him back to do exactly what he did last year. The first thing that I thought he did well was as the 3rd linebacker in the 4-3, we basically sent him on a blitz every time he was out there, and he was awesome at disrupting the run while doing that. He was also good on special teams. I would be fine with having him do the same thing again and only having to pay him $2 million per year. That seems fine with me, but we got some competition for him. We'll jump to the end of free agency and just go over everybody we got. Gardner Minshew took a 1-year, $3.5 million deal to be QB2 more than likely. He is 30 years old and has made 46 starts in his 7-year career and is a more than capable backup quarterback. If he's on the field, you would feel all right with him out there. You don't want your backup quarterback in the game, but if he is in the game, he should be fine. He's also got the mentor tag, which doesn't hurt. Keaton Mitchell took that 2-year, $8 million offer we gave him. He'll be RB3, a gadget player. Get a few touches per game doing that. And he could also be a kick returner, punt returner option. Adam Prentice will be our new fullback. Took a 1-year veteran minimum contract. The main reason I wanted to sign a new fullback and move on from Andrew Beck was because Beck was not good when it comes to lead blocking. Prentice has 86 lead block. He should be better than what Beck was last year. El Lazard, maybe not the name you wanted to see us bring back or the name you wanted to see at wide receiver again for us. Now, I'm not expecting him to play as much as he did last year, but he's a good run blocker, a veteran wide receiver that knows the system, so you could put him out in the field and feel all right about him. He's going to be okay. Calvin Austin took that 2-year, $12 million offer we gave him. Is he going to be wide receiver 2? I'm not quite sure, but he's at least an option. And as a dynamic player, can't hurt to have him on the team. I don't think he's going to be a detriment to the team. John Mechie took a 1-year, $3 million deal. The former 2nd-round pick didn't get the time of day in Houston. I think he could be something, though. He's 26, only normal development, which could hurt him, will hurt him. But he's a good route runner and has the size to potentially be a wide receiver 2. Is he going to be that? Not sure yet. Jeremy Ruckert is going to be brought back on a 2-year, $6 million deal. Was he the greatest free agent tight end on the market? No, but you know what he was? He was the best run blocking tight end on the free agent market, which surprised me. I don't think he's necessarily an elite run blocking tight end, but he's a pretty good one, and he knows the system. So we brought him back. Jelani Woods, we are taking a flyer on him, the 6'7" tight end who just didn't work out in Indianapolis. Could be our tight end 3, potentially. Isaiah Wynn, talked about him earlier. He is going to be more than likely our starting left guard, unless something goes crazy right for us in the draft and we get some hidden dev rookie who can be that guy right away. Brian Allen and Josiah Isiram are some other guys who are taking some flyers on. Potential to be a backup tackle and backup center for us. On the defensive side of the ball now, Deshaun Hand is somebody that we signed that may not make the team. He hasn't been great in his career. I wanted to bring in a better defensive tackle, but a lot of them were getting overpaid. And you'll see what I'm talking about when I show a couple of signings from our team last year where they signed and how much they got. Baron Browning did end up accepting the offer we gave him, and I'm not expecting Baron Browning to be a full-time player because we have also signed Jadeveon Clowney, who I think should actually start the games because he's got the experience on his side. He's played in 155 games in his career, has 123 TFLs, 62.5 career sacks. So we'll have Jadeveon Clowney start the game, and then every other drive, it'll be a rotation between him and Baron Browning. At least that's the plan going into the year. We'll see how that changes. Jamin Davis took the deal we gave him, and Brandon Smith took a veteran minimum contract. He's a similar player to Davis. Could end up filling in for Davis if he went down with an injury. That is, if Smith makes the team. Kobe Bryant took the 2-year, $8 million offer we gave him, and he will wear number 8. He's got the chance to be the starter right away at free safety. That is, if we don't get anybody in the draft. Tyrann Mathieu, we talked about him earlier. He'll very likely be a starter for us and be a mentor for all the other younger DBs we have on the roster. I just hope that he's able to play the full year and remain healthy and not, have to be replaced midseason due to failing on the field or being hurt. Ryan Stonehouse will be our new punter. I was very surprised that he took the deal we gave him. A 1-year veteran minimum contract for somebody who holds the record for average yards per punt in a season. He did it 2 years in a row in 2022 and 2023, 53.1 yards per punt. Guess nobody else offered him. John Simpson and Andrew Beck, both going to the 49ers. Jalen Redmond, look at the contract he got. 2 years, $14.8 million. And Derek Nottie got 1 year, $8.48 million. That is why I was not going out and getting a big money defensive tackle, because every defensive tackle on the market was apparently a big money one. Some more focus scouting. Keegan Riddle, unfortunately, is only round 2-3 talent, despite being a projected round 1 pick. But if he was available late in the second round and we decided to trade back in the second round, he's a guy that I could see myself drafting in that scenario if he lasted that long. Charles Nixon, a tight end out of Colorado, has round 1 talent and has some very good physicals. The Combine and Pro Day were both great, and he looks like somebody that would be amazing right away. And we do need some pass catching help still. Elijah Stevens, the guy we had a draft story about where he pushed a car out of a ditch all by himself. To nobody's surprise, after that story, he did have a great day on the bench press at the Combine, and the ratings look good. He's got round 1 2 talent. It is time to put together our draft plan. Earlier this year, I thought there may be a quarterback slide, but with Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and Geno Smith all retiring, plus all the other teams that need quarterbacks, there's not going to be a quarterback slide more than likely, so we're not going to be getting one in round 1. JT Beckham is the number 1 player on my big board. Only 21 years old, 6'2", a great athlete, can play man, zone, and press. He can do it all. Top 5 talent in the entire draft. The only problem with him is he's projected to go pick 22, and we have pick 27. So if we want JT Beckham, we will have to trade up. Now I'm leaning towards doing that, but let's say we can't get a deal done, then my pick at 27 would be Clyde Swinton, who is Tavon Austin 2.0, new and improved version. He's 5'9" burner out of West Virginia, got 4.3 speed, top 5 talent in the entire draft. We need a wide receiver, and currently there are no wide receivers projected to go round 1, even though it says projected on the left there, and according to Mock Draft 5, there are no wide receivers going in the first round. So we trust that, and we can get Clyde Swinton. If for whatever reason Clyde Swinton did go before we had our pick at pick 27, Jonathan Ruiz could be an option there. He's not a bad player, would fit our offense, being a good run blocking wide receiver who has some upside. There are some day 3 options and day 2 options I do want to keep in mind. Elijah Stevens and Dennis Hopkins are day 2 guys that we have to keep in mind. And then the day 3 guy that we got to keep in mind is Nick Larson. He could be a big steal in this draft, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get all these guys with the amount of picks we have and where we have the picks. It's going to be tough. Let's get into this draft and see if we can fill every need that we have. The Washington Commanders go Jalen Gore with the first overall pick. They take a defensive tackle. The Bears take a defensive tackle at pick 2. The Browns have taken the first quarterback of the draft. The Patriots take a tackle to help out Drake May. Later in the first, Dylan Sheets going pick 11. And the Dolphins are taking a cornerback in Chad Dorsett. Only one quarterback left in the first round that was projected to go. It was Jonathan Nails, and he has gone at pick 15 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Moving even further in the first round, Charles Nixon, the tight end that we scouted, has gone at pick 20. So we have to make our decision now. Do we trade up? Do we not? We're going to try. We're going to offer pick 27, 169, and 208 in this year's draft, a 4th in next year's draft, and a 3rd in the 2028 draft, along with Isaiah Davis, all to move up to pick 21. And the Titans accept. They were playing hardball. I tried multiple offers, but we had to get this deal done to take JT Beckham, the Michigan State Spartan. We keep him in green and white. It's an A-plus pick. He's number 3 in true talent. We got him at pick 21. He has hidden development, and I'm really excited about this pick. He should help out our pass defense a lot and have a big role early in his career. The Bills end up going left tackle Max Tatum to help out Josh Allen and block up front for him, and also James Cook. We got the second pick in the second round thanks to that trade with the Chicago Bears. And Ben Portis, he's excited. He ran really quick to get this pick in, got to the phone, and made the call to select Clyde Swinton. I wonder who ran faster, Clyde Swinton on his pro day or combine, or Ben Portis getting that pick in. Swinton, number 5 in true talent. It's an A-plus pick, but he only has normal development. Disappointing there, but he's got 98 speed. You know, he's a burner, and he's going to have a role early, and maybe he can win an award or get his dev trade up through some sort of scenario. Jonathan Ruiz ends up going at pick 45 overall to the Eagles. That was another wide receiver we talked about. Could have potentially taken him. At this point in the draft, I was getting impatient and decided to trade up to pick 55, giving up 187 in this year's draft, a future 2nd and 3rd, and the Texans ended up accepting the deal. A lot to give up for a late 2nd round pick, in my opinion, but we do that because there are 2 guys I really want. Elijah Stevens, the top available guard, and Dennis Hopkins, the top available safety. Looking at the overall big board, Dennis Hopkins was projected to go sooner than Elijah Stevens. Hopkins, we scouted him early in the draft process. We scouted him actually at the same time as JT Beckham, and Hopkins has round 2-3 talent. So I thought safety being a bigger need, we decided to go with him first. He's got B- as his grade here, 52 in true talent and hidden development. So it's a good pick, in my opinion. He can learn behind Tyrann Mathieu for a year, or maybe even be one of our starters at safety. The problem is Elijah Stevens goes a couple of picks later. He goes at pick 61 to the Minnesota Vikings. They end up stealing him from us. We were just a couple of picks away from taking him at pick 66, the 2nd pick of the 3rd round. And after getting sniped, I just decided to trade all the way back out of the 3rd round, getting a future 2nd, 5th, and 7th from the Rams, who have a rookie quarterback. So maybe they end up being a bad team and we get a higher pick in the 2nd round. Now, Nick Larson was still available when we came up to pick in the 4th round, and this was an obvious, like, slam dunk, just run this pick in as well. Wanted to make it. He's got some really good looking attributes and physicals. The talent says round 2-3. We take him. He's 78th in true value, a B+ pick, and most importantly, he has hidden development. So another hidden development guy in this draft, giving us 3 of them. Of course, if I Swinton not hidden development, wish he was, that would give us all 4 hidden development picks. We have made a lot of trades this offseason. Let's make another one, sending a 6th round pick and a 5th round pick to the Eagles to get a 5th round pick in this year's draft. And the player we're going to select is Carlos Crawford. We got sniped earlier, trying to take Elijah Stevens. So let's take a guard here in Carlos Crawford who has the athleticism, A awareness, B pass block, C run block, and seemed to be the only guard left in the draft that had a chance at being decent, and he is decent. A B+ grade, 56th in true talent, and he's got hidden development. I was not expecting him to be this good, like hidden development type of good. I thought maybe, just a normal dev guy. He can work for a couple of years as a depth option and be a solid backup. We'll see what his overall is in a minute. JT Beckham, a 78 overall, decided to give him number 24. We'll see if he can live up to being Darrelle Revis's number. I'm hoping he can. Should have a role right away. Clyde Swinton could have a chance to be wide receiver too. We'll see if he's good enough in the preseason to lock that down right away, or if he'll have to, work his way up the depth chart. Dennis Hopkins is 73 overall, and he likely is going to be a backup to begin his career. But never say never. Maybe he makes his way onto the field by having a good training camp at preseason. Nick Larson will have a role right away as a pure pass rusher. Needs to work on the block shedding a little bit before I put him on the field as an every down player. And Carlos Crawford is a 72 overall. I just am completely blown away that he's that good. Now, is he going to start right away? No. He's going to be a backup that is one of our focus players that we try to develop for a year, and maybe next year he could take over as our starting left guard. Dylan Sheets, only normal development. Didn't have a chance to take him, but I'm glad we didn't because I may have taken him. Same thing with Jonathan Nails, 75 overall. The overalls are fine, but they're only normal development. The best player in the draft, by the way, is a fullback, Rob Harrison, an 80 overall hidden development fullback, goes to the Raiders. It's going to be a nightmare trying to play the Raiders because they're going to have Ashton Genty and that guy. Jonathan Ruiz looks like he's going to be a good player. We missed out on him. Charles Nixon, same thing. Elijah Stevens, only normal development. So it's a blessing in disguise that we did not have a chance to take him. So what are you guys' thoughts on the offseason overall? Obviously, we still got the preseason. We got to see these guys on the field. Not all of them. Some of the veterans and some of the locked-in starters are not going to play in the preseason, but what are your guys' thoughts on the offseason as a whole? Let me know in the comment section. In the next episode, we'll get through the preseason. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.